I'm going to explain something that most people were never taught about blood sugar. Not because it's a secret, but because it's really explained. And once you understand it, a lot of confusing blood sugar spikes suddenly make sense. And it has nothing to do with sugar, carbs, or portion size alone. It has to do with digestion speed and something almost everyone does every day: drinking water with meals. Now let me be very clear from the beginning. This is not about water being bad. And it does not mean that you should stop drinking water. Hydration is essential for health, but the volume, the temperature, and timing of fluids during meals can influence digestion and blood sugar regulation in certain people, especially those who are already struggling with insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes. And that's the physiology most people have never had explained to them, and that's what I want to do now. And here's why it matters. Blood sugar does not spike in the stomach. The stomach does not absorb glucose. Blood sugar rises when carbohydrates reach the small intestine because that's where carbs are broken down and absorbed into the bloodstream. The stomach's role is to act as a gatekeeper. It slowly releases food in the small intestine, so glucose enters the bloodstream at a controlled pace. When that process is steady, blood sugar rises gradually and insulin can respond appropriately. But when gastric emptying speeds up, glucose can enter the bloodstream much faster, creating a sharper spike. And one factor that can influence how quickly food leaves the stomach is the amount of fluid consumed during a meal, especially when large volumes of liquid are taken along with easily digestible carbohydrates. Now, this does not mean that drinking water automatically raises blood sugar. What it means is that in some people, large amounts of fluid during meals can increase the speed at which carbohydrates move into the small intestine. And this distinction is important because it's not always the total blood sugar that changes. It's the rate of the rise. Faster spikes require more insulin. It places more stress on insulin signaling, and over time, this can worsen insulin resistance, even if the food itself hasn't changed. And there's another layer here that almost no one talks about, and that's the nervous system. Digestion works best under parasympathetic dominance, the calm, the rest and digest state. Cold fluids, especially iced drinks, activate the sympathetic tone, the same stress response that prepares the body for action. And when sympathetic tone is elevated, insulin sensitivity drops, cortisol rises. Cortisol signals the liver to release glucose into the bloodstream. So if someone who's already insulin resistant, stressed, or inflamed, adding cold fluids during meals can stack stress on top of digestion, making glucose handling less efficient. This does not mean that cold drinks cause diabetes, but it helps explain why some people see worse blood sugar readings depending not on just what they eat, but how they eat and drink. And this also explains why many older individuals swear by warm water or warm beverages with meals. Well, warm water does not directly lower blood sugar. What it does is supports parasympathetic digestion. Slow eating avoids triggering stress chemistry and allowing the stomach to empty food at a more controlled pace. The benefit is indirect, but the experience feels real. Now let me cover the other side clearly, because this is important for perspective. For healthy, insulin-sensitive individuals, moderate fluid intake with meals is usually not a problem at all. Small sips, room temperature fluids, or warm beverages are generally well tolerated. This topic matters mostly for people who are already struggling with blood sugar control, digestive issues, reflux, bloating, or stress-dominant digestion. It also matters more when meals are rushed, eaten under stress, or combined with refined carbohydrates. And there's also a timing issue most people get backwards, because being properly hydrated before meals improves insulin sensitivity and digestion. Chugging large amounts of fluid during meals does not fix dehydration and can interfere with digestion timing. So hydration absolutely matters, but when and how you hydrate matters just as much as how much you drink. The takeaway here is not don't drink water. The takeaway is that digestion speed influences blood sugar, nervous system tone influences insulin sensitivity, and stress during meals can raise blood sugar even when the food itself hasn't changed. Once you understand that, blood sugar stops being just a food problem and starts making physiological sense. And that's why for many people, adjusting how they eat and drink can make blood sugar easier to manage without extreme diets or fare, because the body responds not just to nutrients, but to timing, temperature, and the state of the nervous system. I hope this video serves you well. I wish you only good health to you, your loved ones, and family. Leave your comments below, and most important, make it a great day. I'm Dr. Alan Mandell.